My major actually has a lot of Native Americans who are coming from very poor reservations, and so they want to study public health so that they can go back and give back to the community in which they were raised.
I think a lot of my Native American friends have had much different reasons for achieving success than I have. I know like some of my Native American friends, they've had the motivation to come to school, get this education and go out with their degree and be successful because of where they've come from. Some of my Native friends have come from the poorest parts of some of the reservations, so that's a really good motivation. And I think that's a pretty common motivation amongst some of my Native American friends. Others have come because, maybe some of their parents and grandparents have gotten an education, which I don't think is as common because, education hasn't always been easily accessible by Native Americans. So those are some of the different motivations I've seen. I know like my motivation to come to school and get an education just because that's what I thought I had to do. I just kind of grew up knowing I'd go to college. I didn't really come from a poor background or anything. Came from a pretty standard middle class family. I'm the first person in my family to go to college, but that's not why I went. I just went because I thought it was expected of me because that's what you see, in TV and movies and stuff, so that's what I did.
Back home, like no one goes to school. Like you only go to like high school, then you're done. Like no one goes off the reservation to go to college. And, like if you do go to college, it's like you get the scholarship or you have the money. But then even if you do go to college, you're like back home and within a year or two. So then like here, I'm like my friends motivate me to do my best. Like if I need help, they're there for me. And if but then back home is like only have my parents. Like I don't really get along with my friends from high school because they don't they like they never finish high school. And like my best friend in elementary, like she never finished high school. She already has a kid. So it's like our experiences are way different. So like I feel more comfortable here and I feel like people here understand what I'm going through. And back home, like they don't, like they're stuck in a place, like they never been anywhere.
I think it's hard for anyone. Like, if you don't get higher education than a high school education. Like where I'm from, like high school education is like a college degree almost, based on how many people actually graduate from high school, which is very low. Where I'm from, it was either, like I was saying, you get an entry-level job at the mine, which is mostly driving, but a lot of them go to tech schools, like to learn a trade, and others join the military, and those who get scholarships, they go to school.
In the future, that's what I'm doing, just continuing my education and get as far as I can, and then go back and work for the Navajo Nation and work for the people, not for myself.
Okay, so one of the things my grandpa said to me, my grandpa is one of the biggest influences in my life. He doesn't talk very much at all, if at all. But that's the biggest thing he's always been stressing. He hardly ever talks, but when I'm around, he says, go to school. Like, what does that mean? I've been struggling with that this entire time. Like, what does education mean? Even now, like, finishing school, like, what does education mean? And I've kind of slowly whittled it down. It's still a pretty big topic for me, but the biggest thing is the experience of it. Like, expand yourself, apply yourself, put yourself in new positions. And so that's kind of the whole situation that started out, and that's how I started coming to school and deciding that I wanted to do something bigger and I wanted to explore more things.
I want to change the idea of Navajos there's the not stereotype, there's the idea that like Native Americans just like to drink like alcohol, and they don't really pursue an education, and then they just have families and they have kids, and then they can't support their family, and so their way of living is not really good. And I want people to see me as someone who cares about their education.
I was thinking of being a biologist due to the fact I wanted to become a dentist at first. When I realized I couldn't cut it out in biology, I actually was looking at math one time. And I noticed how much I could understand the math more than I could understand words in a way. And so I kind of looked into engineering. I took a couple of classes in it, and I actually really enjoyed it. It's quite fun. You get to build things, get to write code on a computer. It's a lot of math involved, but I kind of enjoy it. It's really interesting.
This coming December. So I'm taking this one summer class, and then in the fall I only have 2 more classes left. So it's coming up. Yeah, it's been a very long process, and I started out with a 2-year-old, and now I have two kids, and I'm married, and it's just been like a very long journey. I'm like ready to graduate, but I am also contemplating going into graduate school after this, so we'll see. I have a couple more months to decide, I guess, but yeah, I'm very excited. I can't wait to graduate.
I mean, we had kind of problems, not problems, but at the beginning coming here, also talking to the other international students, is like, I know that I'm ignorant about that kind of stuff. I don't know a lot about Native American people, but it's kind of the same for American people. I mean, when I said that I was from Italy, there was some people that had no idea where Italy was, not even that it was in Europe, or it was kind of the same for other international students. We have a friend from Poland, and people ask her if they have electricity in Poland. That is kind of course we have electricity, or kind of these questions that are like, oh, okay, I don't know, makes you feel that you don't know a lot about other people, but at the same time, people don't know much about you. So it was like, yep.
Everyone is learning.
Everyone's learning, yeah.
And the next step after learning something is teaching it to somebody else. I want to become some sort of teacher. I don't really know what kind yet. I just want to teach people things. Because I think education is really important. Because it's the most powerful tool that we have. And you can never learn enough. You can always learn something new.